So, after that, I gave Echo her own personal blindfold and flew her back to my place. I have to say, of the many abilities that I've learned when it comes to utilizing liquid steel, my favorite thus far has to be the invisibility. The ability to shift the metal and bend the light around me so that people can't see me. It's made getting back into my apartment way easier. Before, I had to sneak around and change out of my armor before I could get back in. Slow-go it all the way back there from some nearby location so that no one could tell that I was the heavy metal knight. Now, I could just swoop right up. As long as there was nobody standing on my front doorstep, they'd be none the wiser. And it wasn't hard at all to add Echo into the combination. So very quickly we found our way into my apartment. And Ned was there waiting with bells on. Dude, welcome back. Hey, remember, this is all supposed to be secret, okay? So no blathering about things that could reveal, intimate details of where I live, who I am, and things like that. Even your own name. Remember, secrets. Okay, man. I get you. Ted said as I set Echo down. Okay, I'm just sort of glad to be back on my feet. Well, I'm happy you're glad to be back on your feet because you just knocked me off mine, girl, Ned said as he swooped in. I have to say, it is a darn shame you have to wear a mask because you look good. Like 10 out of 10 bonus points on top of it. So, Echo, you're single, right? How'd you like to date the all-seeing eye? Who are you? I'm sorry, my friend, aka the all-seeing eye. We'll call him at this point, just for brevity and secrecy. Thinks he's smooth. He's trying to hit on you. I'm kind of blindfolded right now. Actually, that probably works to his advantage. He's not exactly good looking. Dude! Ned replied, looking angry in my direction. Do I hate on your game? What kind of friend does that, man? One who wants you to be honest with yourself, I replied laughingly. Now, let's get this dog and pony show on the road, okay? We're not here for you to hit on chicks with superpowers. We're here to help her out with hers and establish a few things that might help us along. Okay, I get it. Business first, then pleasure. But I gotta say, you're sucking the fun right out of this whole superpower thing. Come on, don't be like that. I just had a stressful day, okay? Kinda got clobbered around by a behemoth for a while. I'm still freaking sore. Okay, I get it, man, Ned replied. So, what's first up on the to-do list? And what do I call you? Ned said as he looked towards Echo. We decided on Echo because I manipulate sound waves, bounce them around in order to do cool stuff. Echo, nice, Ned replied. So, what are we looking at in terms of usefulness? Armament, attack, defense? Details, come on, details. Why do you need to know that? Echo replied, stepping back from Ned just a bit, as I put my hand behind her to stop her movement, as she was about to trip over my coffee table. Watch out, there's a table behind you. Oh, sorry. Blindfold. I know he seems a bit over-enthusiastic, and with a blindfold, I can see that being very off-putting. But I assure you, he's harmless. In fact, I bet my bottom dollar you could kick his ass in under a minute. Probably under 10 seconds, considering the whole superpower thing. Remember, he's still a regular person. You have 10 times the normal physical strength. Kicking his ass would not be an issue. And if he ever actually stepped out of line, I would absolutely let you do it. But I assure you, he won't. He may be a Class A super nerd, but he's genuinely a nice guy. Okay. Well, as I said, I manipulate sound waves. So really, one of my biggest problems is having to produce enough sound. There need to be powerful sound waves in order for me to manipulate them. The stronger the sound waves are, the stronger the effect. I can of course build on ambient sound, but it takes some time. It's not exactly a fast process. The quickest way to do it is to have very powerful sound waves already present. But it's kind of hard to carry around sound in any sort of format that wouldn't get smashed or broken. And especially if you're trying to move around and do stuff. What am I supposed to do? Just carry a boombox backpack? No, I wouldn't suggest that. Too bulky. Well, I could definitely try to whip you something up. But regardless of what I make, it'd probably still be fairly easily breakable. Radio equipment is fairly sensitive. And then armament is going to be an issue too. Unless of course you have some sort of defensive powers. Well, I can create sounds that defend me. Sonic barriers. But once again, it requires the sound. So it all comes back to that single point. The sound is both your offense and your defense, right? Yeah, Echo replied, as Ned scratched his head thinking it over. This is sort of a pain. Honestly, what I'd say you needed was basically some sort of projection system that was compact enough for you to wear around. That wouldn't hinder your mobility or movement. But that was also fairly well protected, which is a hard thing to come by. It's not as if we can just go down to the armor store and buy you some titanium plating. It might come off as a bit suspicious. I have to say, Heavy Metal's abilities sort of made outfitting him a bit easier than it really should have been. I mean, he can make his own armor out of the liquid steel that he produces. It way cut down on his armament costs. Well, I mean, if it's a question of money, I have plenty, Echo replied. Oh, well, even if it was a question of money, it'd probably be a lot of it. Once again, no real worries. I told you, I have plenty of money. Wow, rich girl, Ned replied. What, you a trust fund chick? Once again, I think I'd prefer to keep the details private. Let's just say that money isn't really an obstacle for me. Okay, well that might make things a bit easier. But still, up against superpowers, there's very little equipment that's really going to do much good if it takes any sort of direct impacts from people with superpowers. Once again, I find myself wishing that you had the ability to use liquid steel like Heavy Metal does. Actually, it is possible, I heard Nylea's voice say. What? What are you talking about, Nylea? I replied. Well, quite frankly, there is an optional ability that you possess with the liquid steel that allows you to pass off segments to other people. What? You're telling me that I can give away liquid steel? Well, in a basic sense, yes. But only to people who already possess a symbiote. Okay. New on the knowledge list. I really wish you would have told me about this sooner, Nylea. I mean, what if somebody got a hold of some of it and started taking it for themselves? Oh, you don't have to worry about that. The process only works when you facilitate it. It's not as if they can just do it on their own. The liquid steel that you gift to them has to be psychically gifted to them. You have to focus, concentrate, and designate a segment of liquid that you can pass to them as a gift. My first wielder would often use this ability to aid her friends. Once again, the king's power is a diverse, intricate, and powerful one, with many advantages that other abilities don't possess, including the ability to pass small segments on to other symbiotes. Do you want to clue me in on the conversation, bro? Ned said, looking in my direction as I was having a conversation with Nylea. Remember, I can only hear one side of the conversation. Oh, sorry about that, I said as I raised my hand, creating a small orb and beginning to channel Nylea's voice through it, using heavy metal ventriloquism. Okay. Is that better? Can you hear me now? Nylea said as her voice emitted from the orb. Oh, whoa, hold on. Who is that? Echo said, beginning to look around the room, a bit pointlessly considering that she was wearing a blindfold, but it's sort of reflex. Don't worry about it, I replied. It's Nylea, my symbiote. What? Your symbiote can talk? To other people? No, not actually. I really just use something called heavy metal ventriloquism. I'm able to convert my telekinetic thoughts, my wavelength, into vibrations in the metal, and produce my voice, or in this case, Nylea's, through segments of liquid steel.